That's why I did it too.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my foot's kind of sore right now, and that's a big deal to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why you don't care about anybody else's
Self-involved.
problems.
I'm self-involved. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a great thing.
Wow.
Like, what was it? Last weekend, we haven't spoken since this happened, or we haven't done a podcast since this happened. But the mass shooting in Las Vegas.
Yes. Can we say that's the reason we didn't record one last week?
Sure. Yeah, that's it.
Good. I'm glad
That's
we have
the
a reason
ticket.
for all.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a mass shooting. 50 some odd people dead, hundreds in hospital, because this crazed gunman decided to open fire on a Las Vegas country music festival. And
Yes.
I believe earlier in the day or the previous day there was a terrorist attack in Edmonton. Someone in a U-Haul truck just ran a bunch of people down and stabbed a cop.
Jeez.
And I thought, oh my god, that's terrible. It's in Edmonton. Maybe it hits a little closer to home.
Oh, well,
Because
there you go.
it's than in Las Vegas. I was just like, oh, it's going down. And then the Vegas one, I read that the next morning. I go, oh yeah, one more terrorist attack, I guess.
You just had a copy of the Gazette and you were standing in line at the waiting for a bus and you just muttered to yourself, "Oh,
No,
where do we
those.
live in?
Yeah.
Another one of these."
Well, I was at home sipping a coffee, reading on my phone, going, oh yeah, well, there we go.
But still speaking out loud.
No,
I
I
hope
probably
I-
just thought it.
let me
I probably
imagine
had a
it that
stone face and just read it and was like, information registered.
So no emotion for the families and for the people who lost their lives.
Well,
and were
when
injured.
you say it that way, when I read a headline of 56 people gunned down, it's like, oh, that's a number.
Yeah. Is that a big number? I hear it's a.
I believe it's the biggest mass shooting in American history. So yeah, it's a pretty big number. If we
When
put
you say
56 people in this apartment, Matthew,
Yeah.
it'd be very crowded.
Very crowded, but you could fit it.
Yeah, probably. It's a lot of people. And those are just the people who died, not just the people who got shot.
Yeah, but I think when you say, okay, yeah, 56 people, that's a lot of people dead. But when you say 56 people and then you also throw in American history, that's a long time. That's
That's a few hundred years.
that's the record. And it's so, are they going to be talking about this in the history books?
Well, until the record's broken.
I guess. Is someone trying to, you shouldn't, no one should ever know what the record is because someone's just going to try and beat it.
I suppose, in theory, maybe if they're a lunatic.
Well, I'm sure there's a lunatic out there and they're like 56 people. I mean, I'm that lunatic right
I
now
can do better.
because I'm thinking 56 people, that's not a lot of people for a record for American history.
Yeah, I suppose, but he had 56 people. Hundreds of people got shot.
I know, but I don't know how you...
Hundreds of people. That's a lot of bullets.
well, he's shooting down at thousands of people.
That's true.
Every bullet has to be hitting somebody.
Probably a lot of them are, yeah.
I think it's I don't want to say lucky. I feel like more people could have done
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other reason I felt like I lacked sympathy, aside from the distance, sure, it's on the other end of the continent. It's very far away. I've never been to Las Vegas, so I don't have any connection with it.
No.
Meanwhile, it was a country music festival. That I cannot relate to. I thought to myself, even if I was in Vegas, I would not be at this country music festival. I'd be fine.
You don't listen to Keith Urban on your downtime?
I don't.
Not in your iPod. You can't imagine
I can't
the
relate.
pain
I wouldn't be
because
there.
of that. Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, this guy died skydiving. That wouldn't have been me.
It's like, well, I shouldn't have gone skydiving.
Yeah.
It's like, you shouldn't have
That's
gone to a country
another
music-
way I wouldn't die.
Yeah. Don't go to a country music festival,
Right?
is what you're thinking. Now, what if this happened at a Spider-Man? Spider-Man convention. I don't know why I can't say Spider-Man. That's what I'm trying to say. What if this happened at a Spider-Man convention?
What kind of monster would do that?
Like a Venom or Green Goblin or something.
Oh, that's senseless violence, Matthew. I cannot condone that. I can't. I
So
don't
it's-
understand why anyone would do that.
That would hit home for you then. But
Clearly.
that would be, it'd be tragic, but it would also kind of be, I don't know, that would go down in the history books. Like Green Goblin kills And he's only targeting people dressed like Spider-Man.
Green Goblin kills hundreds of Spider-Mans.
Some innocent bystanders, obviously, because he's just kind of spraying the bullets
However,
out, but-
okay, let's say there's 1,000 people dressed as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
One guy opens fire. Don't you think these people are inspired by their hero, Spider-Man, to do something about it?
No.
Don't you think someone will be a hero?
Well, if we're talking about a convention, they're all trapped in a little room. There's no
Mm-hmm.
buildings to swing off of.
That's true.
And none of them have any powers.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
just have limited vision.
I doubt because of the masks. I doubt that any of them have functioning web shooters either.
No, it's all just silly string. Everyone's just firing their silly string and making matters worse.
Oh my god. The shots rung out and then I was blinded by silly string.
Oh goodness, yeah, that would be at least there'd be a purpose at that point.
What's the purpose?
Cosplaying,
Oh, for the Spider-Man.
real life
Oh,
cosplay.
yeah, I guess really getting in character.
Yeah,
I mean, even then, I guess that wouldn't be me because I don't generally dress up as Spider-Man or ever. Let's try and figure out something that would affect both of us. Okay, how about this, Matthew? Last week,
yeah.
you camped out for one of those Super Nintendos, those mini Super Nintendo Classic Edition, something like that.
Ah, yes.
I'm a fan of Nintendo. I love Super Mario. I spent most of this month thinking about them, and you like buying rare objects.
I guess so. From what I said,
Yeah, and so if let's say someone opened fire at a line of people waiting for a Super Nintendo, how would you react to that?
I mean it's upsetting because it's people waiting in line, like they're already kind of miserable. Like,
Yeah, okay.
but I think it would like I need to ask a question.
Shoot.
Is this person dressed up like a Wario or Luigi?
I mean, why? Well, why are they a villain of the character? Like this guy wasn't dressed as like a death metal fan. He going shooting people at the country music festival. You don't have to be the opposite of something.
But I feel like that's what makes it just a
A
little
little more sinister, or a little less, a little
yeah,
more whimsical.
like just like you brighten people's day for a little bit.
It's like, wait, how? Well,
For a
yeah,
little bit.
it would be a bigger headline if like Wario opens fire upon.
Yeah, you got to think of the headlines when you do something like this.
Oh God, no, you got to not, because that's how you encourage people.
Wario murders many
Oh man!
at Nintendo launch.
All right, Matthew, let's okay. You mentioned conventions earlier to me in our conversation while we were actually eating our lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying a Spider-Man convention. You had some other problem with conventions.
A whole lot of them, all the conventions.
Please open up to me about this convention bit.
They're money grabbing, they're thieving, they don't know how to run a business.
Well, it's a money-making endeavor, is it not?
It is, but it can be for the fans too. It can.
Well, it kind of is, isn't it?
They're trying to make it like that, but I've had too many experiences. I've heard too many stories that just they contradict each other. Like the people who run these conventions, they're telling you things that you know are lies.
Well, okay. Now, for starters, I feel like the conventions at one time were for me, and now they are not.
When they were in like church basements, but
Yeah.
then they picked up.
You
They
know,
got too
even
big.
yeah, they would be in like hotel.
Hotels?
Hotels. They'd be in like hotel convention areas. And I remember when I was maybe a teenager, I would go to like the Montreal Comic Convention, whatever, and there would be like, you know, maybe 6 professional comic artists,
Yeah.
a writer or two. You could go speak to them for a good 10, 20 minutes, have them sign your book.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of people who sold, you know, statues of Daredevil and old comic books that you couldn't find anymore.
Yeah. Lou Ferrigno selling pizza.
No, none of that.
No?
No. And then as time went on, it became more of this multimedia convention where you could go get a signature and spend $20 on a photo with Data from Star Trek or some shit.
And he's not even wearing his little eye thing.
No, he's just
Or
dressed
no,
as himself.
that's Data. Data.
Oh, you're thinking of LeVar Burton.
I'm thinking LeVar Burton. So
Yeah.
yeah, LeVar's not wearing his little
Well,
eye.
Data had
thing.
like greenish makeup.
He's not dressed up the way I remember him from the show.
No, he's just dressed as himself.
Yeah.
Which, and the convention center went from being a bunch of people who might have like a Batman T-shirt on, and like a backpack filled with comics that they'd like to have signed from particular artists.
Yeah.
To people in elaborate costumes. Now, I don't have a problem with these elaborate costumes, but I don't care for them. When I'm going to a comic convention, I'm hunting for old comics, and I want to talk to people and make comics. I don't want to get a photo with someone from Stargate.
No?
No, I don't want to pretend I'm in The Walking Dead.
What about out of makeup Worf?
Yeah, none of that. None of that.
Unrecognizable
It
Worf.
turned into not just comics, and I was there for the comics. And I remember maybe 6 years ago going to one of these comic conventions and saying, "Man, Montreal Comic Con used to be about the comics," and I was sad. I don't go anymore.
No, less comics. And if you find rare ones, you won't, because that's not how it works. A lot of places are just changing the
And
name.
the price keeps shooting up. It
Skyrocket.
used to be like $8. Now it's like 20 something bucks.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah. See, some places like Toronto, they're calling theirs fan expos. now,
Yeah.
Because it's so much more.
Well, I suppose also it's vague enough to be like, "Are you a fan of something?" Because we may include that eventually.
Here's an expedition.
It's not a fan expedition.
What's it?
It's exposition.
exposition. Yeah. What is an expedition?
It's when you go out like on an adventure or journey.
I thought that's what they were kind of getting at. Like,
No,
here's the
no,
big
no.
adventure, like a journey for fans.
No, it's an exposition. Like we are showing
makes
it
a
to
lot
you.
more
We're
sense.
exposing this to you.
Yeah. Fan expo. Oh, now I know. It's a lot less.
A lot less adventurous. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have a problem with all of it. With the basically with the no refund policy and the convention operators ruling on the conventioneers. Yeah, the people
No, I
who run
imagine
it.
that's someone who goes to a convention.
Yeah, just siding with the actors all the time.
Okay, what do you mean? Explain the no refund policy.
they're kinda
like you
hand
go
in
in and
hand.
you don't have a good time, you want your money back?
Yeah, I can be like, you don't have a good time, too bad.
Okay.
Don't get a refund. I agree with that because you're paying. But like, you go there to see an actor who cancels, and they say no refund. You're paying for the experience, not paying for an actor. It's like, no, I'm paying for the actor. You're using that actor to sell me this ticket. I wouldn't buy this ticket if I thought Jeffrey Dean Morgan, let's say he recently canceled.
Who's that now?
He's Negan on Walking Dead. He's also
Okay.
he's done other things. I don't know. I don't know why I picked somebody who I don't know his background.
Okay, sure.
George Lucas. Let's say George Lucas.
Okay.
He goes to one of these things. Day before it's supposed to happen, he cancels. You should get a refund if you were going there to see. If he was like the headliner, they're like, "Come to the comic convention. George Lucas will be there," and then they take it away.
I'm like,
and everyone,
okay, I'm going to buy a ticket.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
buy
see
a
George
ticket.
Lucas.
And then he says, "No, I'm not coming." That's bad. That's false advertising.
Yeah.
Because you've bought a ticket based on that, but they'll tell you, the convention people will tell you at multiple conventions, not just one. They'll tell you, no, you're not buying a ticket to see that person. I'm sorry if that's what you thought. You're buying a ticket to come to the convention. That was just a bonus. And this person has commitments, prior commitments. This
is a prior commitment.
Yeah, that's
this
what I'm
is
thinking.
You've committed.
Like, maybe George Lucas was another bad example because I don't know what he's doing. But
Regardless.
let's talk about an actor like Eliza Dushku.
Sure.
She signs on to
She
this
on
thing.
that Dollhouse show?
Yeah.
She was in like a Buffy.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that. But
The cover of Maxim magazine in like 2003.
at some point, yeah. If you go through the back issues
Yeah,
at one
yeah.
of these Maxim conventions,
Sure.
you can find her. But yeah, they'll say, "Oh, she has, she's an actress. She's got things she needs to do. She can't just. She's doing you a favor by coming to these conventions, so all you fans have a chance to meet her. but she has a life, and it's like, no, this is her commitment. She signed on 6 months ago
she's
to do
probably
this.